Shalom, shalom. It's brother Mosar. Right. I got my brother Shemawal with me. Right. And while he handling what he got to handle, all praise to the Most High. We both was able to make it back to do another part of this Tobit series, man. Y'all know the last couple of videos we've been going into accounts of the people, specific Israelites here, and we want to bring out these accounts of people because you got to understand that these people are us. So they can show us what we should do in certain situations or what we shouldn't do in other situations. That's why it's so imperative that we go into these accounts. So I'm going to start it out right. Let's go to Romans chapter 15. Now, if you've been watching this series for the past couple of videos, this is one precept that if you don't remember no other ones, this is one verse you should always remember. It's Romans chapter 15 and verse number 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So by learning these things, by reading over Tobit, even going into a part 2 of Tobit, we're doing an extra deep dive into what the scripture said about him so that, like the verse said, we can have patience and comfort. Patience and comfort is what comes from getting into these scriptures and learning about our forefathers and foremothers. Right? So I believe I left off at Tobit chapter 3. Right, let me flip to that real quick. And bear with me today, y'all. I got my special guest with me. Hopefully he'll allow me to bring this word out uninterrupted, but for all my parents out there, y'all know how that goes. All right. I want to get the book of Tobit, chapter 3, and we can start at verse 1. It's Tobit chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, Then I, being grieved, did weep, and in my sorrow prayed, saying, O Lord, thou art just in all thy works, and all thy ways are mercy and truth, and thou judgest truly and justly forever. Now, mind you, this is after Tobit just lost everything, which was he lost his eyesight. He had just lost everything and got it back, and then he lost his eyesight. His woman had to take women's work to do. All of that is in chapter 2. I mean, it was just bad. Here it is. You used to being that man who can. You used to having your household run a certain kind of way. Then an unforeseen tragedy like losing your eyesight. I mean, just imagine right now if you couldn't see no more. That's something that we take for granted a lot of the time. Imagine if you could not see nothing. Like if you had woke up today and everything was just completely blank. You couldn't see nothing. That's what happened to Tobit, man. He lost his eyesight. But yet and still, while he's going through that, it says in Tobit chapter 3 and verse 2, O Lord, thou art just in all thy works, and all thy ways are mercy and truth, and thou judgest truly and justly forever. He's still giving glory to the Most High name. He like, man, whatever the Lord do, it's perfect. It's just. You can't put nothing to it. Even though the Lord has made me blind, he has allowed me to go blind. Hey, the Lord is just forever. That's what Tobit is saying, man. Right? Shalom, shalom. All right. Hey, it's important. We got to remember Tobit. And this is one of the most important things to remember about Tobit is that even in his distress, Tobit always found a way to glorify the Most High. All right, let's keep reading. Tobit chapter 3 and verse number 2. O Lord, thou art just in all thy works, and all thy ways are mercy and truth, and thou judgest truly and justly forever. Even though he's going through it, he's still giving glory to the Most High. Now let's see who else in the Bible did something similar. All right, let's go to the book of Job. Let's get this. Hold on 1 second, son. Let's get this book of Job, man. Because Job had a similar situation, man, where he lost. Man, if some of us lost what Job ended up losing, man, I don't know how many of us will still give glory to the Most High name. I don't know, man. Let's see. This is Job chapter 2 and verse. Let me find this exact verse. This is Job chapter 2, and I want to get Job chapter 1. There it is. It's Job chapter 1 and verse number 18. All right, let's read this. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, Thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the four corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. I only am escaped, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Right? Then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshipped and said, Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Hey, just imagine that. Tobit lost his eyesight, completely blind, couldn't see nothing. He wasn't born like that. That had to be one of the most scariest feelings ever, but he gave glory to the Most High name, just like Job in this account was giving glory to the Most High name after his own children had died. Right? Just imagine that. You know, how many people would still believe in God if, God forbid, something happened to your children? That's a whole nother level of belief and faith in the Most High. And that's a level of belief and faith that Tobit was on. And that's why the title is Remember Him. Tobit is not a regular man. He's a man to be honored. Let's keep going. Tobit chapter 3. Verse 6. Now therefore, deal with me as seemeth best unto thee, and command my spirit to be taken from me, that I may be dissolved. Give me 1 second. So, okay, come, I pray. Let's get into this. Tobit chapter 3, and verse number 6. Now therefore deal with me as seemeth best unto thee, and command my spirit to be taken from me, that I may be dissolved and become earth. For it is profitable for me to die rather than to live, because I have heard false reproaches and have much sorrow. Command therefore that I may now be delivered out of this distress, and go into the everlasting place. Turn not thy face from me. And hey, how many of us have had a prayer like this, where you was just so fed up with what was going on in life? It could have been, you know, your kids got suspended from school. Then on your way home from work that same day, you blew a tire. Then you get the tire fixed. Then you on your way home again, you blow the other tire. You just having one of them days. You just like, Lord, I can't do this no more. Hey, Tobit had them moments. A lot of times, I think that we look at the scriptures so magically. We look at the Tobits and the Pauls and the Jobs and the King Davids and all of these other people, and we look at them as if they're not human beings just like us. Right? Like they didn't have moments where they wanted to give up, where they wanted to say, forget everything. They just wanted it to be over. To the point where Tobit was asking, like, Lord, just take my life from me. If I got to live like this, take my life. And that's actually biblical. Let's go to that in Sirach. All right. Sirach chapter 30. 1 second, son. I'm doing something. All right, it's Sirach chapter 30. And let's go down towards the end. I think I'm looking for verse 17. Come. It's Sirach chapter 30 and verse 17. It says, death is better than a bitter life or continual sickness. It said, before you just live a life of just pure sorrow and anguish and pain, it's better to just kick the bucket. It's better to kick the bucket and just not have to do it no more. I mean, think about it. While you still alive, while we still in this captivity that we in, and guess what? It's the first, ain't it? Y'all had to pay that rent today. Landlord said, put it in my hand today, or else we putting that notice on your door. I know you tired of that. I ain't never met nobody who was like, oh yeah, it's rent payment day. Let's go. And they held a celebration. They start partying. They invited the fellas over, cracked open a couple of cold ones. Oh yeah, it's rent day. I'm happy. No, said nobody ever, man. Oh, I get to go and clock in and make somebody else rich today. Said nobody else. No, nobody was ever happy about that. Not the Israelites. So hey, it gets to them times where sometimes you just want to give up. And you might think, nah, you know what I'm saying? I'm this and I'm that. Hey, Tobit had them times too, but the point was he didn't give up though. He had his moment. But hey, this is Tobit chapter 3. Tobit got how many chapters in it? Let me see. I believe it's 14 off the top of my head. Let's see. Tobit got 14 chapters in it, man. He got 11 more chapters of endurance to go through. How much more so us? You just imagine what Tobit would have gave to see some of the prophecies that we get to see. To see the downfall. He didn't even get to see the downfall of the city that he was in. His son got to see it, but he didn't. We actually get to see America falling before our very face. That's a beautiful thing. But sometimes, hey, you had them days of him, man, I don't know if I can do it. You know, these kids getting on my nerves, this job, I'm ready to quit. These bills, I put three boxes of cereal in my grocery cart. They telling me it's $150 at the register. All I got is 3 lousy bags of cereal. We know how it is, man, but you got to keep going. So let's keep reading. All right, let's drop down to Tobit, chapter 3, and verse number 16. So the prayers of both of them were heard before the majesty of the great God. Now the other person that gave a prayer was the woman that'll eventually become Tobit's son's wife. They both prayed to the Most High at the same time out of distress. We're not going to read her prayer for the simple fact that this is about Tobit at this moment and not her right now. But it say the Lord heard both of them. Hey, the Lord will hear you when you crying out, man. We got to really understand, like, we don't serve Buddha. We don't serve damn Shiva. What's another God? I can't. It's so many of them. We serve the true God, the Most High God, the living God. At this very moment, the Lord can hear me making this video right now. He's not a piece of stone. He's not a statue like these other gods are. You know, he's the true and living God. If you pray to him in your distress, he can hear you. Let's get that in Psalms. It's like I'm trying to grab my Bible. Let's get that in Psalms chapter 50. If you call out to the Lord when you're going through it, man, he'll hear you. But you got to be able to drop your pride and call out to him, man. This is Psalms chapter 50, and I believe I want verse 15. Let me see. Psalms chapter 50 and verse number 15. It says, and call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. So if you call on the Most High, you going through it. Hey, it's the 29th. You need this rent money by the 1st, and your check was short this week. Hey, you better call out to the Most High, man. hey, if we truly believers and followers of the Most High through His Son Yahweh Shai, then we gotta actually believe that He can make a way out of no way. That's what faith is. Prayer is one of the highest signs of having faith. Think about how many people on a day-to-day don't pray. They don't even think about praying unless something bad happened to them. Think about Jake and Eve in the world. You think they praying while they standing at the line in the club for the club on the Sabbath? You think they prayed to the Most High for they did that? When they went out and celebrated their 35th birthday with all their homegirls, and they all went to Miami, or they went on that Jamaica trip. If you know, you know. They went on that Jamaica trip. You think they prayed to the Most High, man? You think they thought about the Most High, thought about His statutes, His judgments? They thought about His people at all? Or did they only think about themselves? So it's a beautiful thing for us to even have this knowledge that was given to us freely by the Most High to even know to pray. But like it's saying Psalms chapter 50 and 15, hey, you got to call out to the Most High when you're in trouble, and you got to glorify His name after. You don't get to just call out to the Most High when you're going through it, and then He give you what you want, and then you just y'all, and you just run off. It don't work like that. Imagine somebody did that to you, man. You, hey man, I'm a little short on this money for this Uber getting home. You know what I'm saying? They said it's 15. I got $10. You can throw me $5. You give them the $5, you never hear from them again. They don't say thank you. They don't say, oh, I appreciate that, man. They just walk past you at work. They put their headphones in when they see you now. Just imagine that. How much more so should we not be treating the Most High that way? So let's get back to Tobit. It said Tobit's prayer was answered. It says, I want to drop down. I want to speed up a little bit. Because Tobit got a lot of different things going on in it. And time will fail me to try to get into every single thing today. We'll be doing Tobit part 7. Right? And if that's what the Lord will, that's what He will. But as of right now, let's do this. Tobit chapter 4 and verse. I'm going to just start at verse number 1. Tobit chapter 4 and verse 1. In that day, Tobit remembered the money which he had committed to Gabael in rages of Media, and said with himself, I have wished for death. Wherefore do I not call for my son Tobias, that I may signify to him of the money before I die? So he wasn't being selfish when he was thinking about the fact that he had just asked the Most High, hey, I'm going through it. Just take me out of there. Clock me out. He thought, oh, man, I got to think about my son. Now, Jake nowadays, how many times do Jake think about that? They running around in the streets. How many street dudes you know running around with life insurance just in case something happened to them and them kids can't see them no more? You see the difference in thinking that Tobit had? His first thought was, oh man, the people that's still gonna be here after I'm gone, I need to make sure they straight, especially my son. Hey, Jake, nowadays, man, they rather, we ain't gonna get into that. Let's keep going in Tobit chapter 4. Tobit chapter 4 and verse 3. And when he had called him, he said, my son, when I am dead, bury me, and despise not thy mother, but honor her all the days of thy life, and do that which shall please her, and grieve her not. Remember, my son, that she saw many dangers for thee when thou wast in her womb, and when she is dead, bury her by me on one grave. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right, Salaki. Let's keep reading. Tobit chapter 4 and verse 4. Remember, my son, that she saw many dangers for thee when thou was in her womb, and when she is dead, bury her by me in one grave. My son, be mindful of the Lord our God all thy days, and let not thy will be set to sin or to transgress his commandments. So at this time, when he knows, okay, I just asked the Most High, the living God, the true God, that he take me out of my misery, not only is he telling, he charging his son, hey, conduct yourself this way and that way, respect your mother, make sure you do what you got to do for her, remember all the things she went through being your mother. He also saying, hey, don't forget the Most High. Regardless, do not forget the Most High. Right? I want to get this verse, and here it is right there. Chapter 7, or verse number 7. Let's drop down. Tobit chapter 4 and verse 7. Give alms of thy substance, and when thou givest alms, let not thine eye be envious, neither turn thy face from any poor, and the face of God shall not be turned away from thee. It says, if thou hast abundance, give alms accordingly. If thou have but a little, be not afraid to give according to that little. For thou layest up a good treasure for thyself against the day of necessity. And he just going in, telling his son, hey, do this. No, don't forget to do that. Make sure I ain't forgetting that. Oh yeah, definitely don't forget to do that. This the conversation he having with his son. Really lacing him with game. Just imagine if we had fathers and uncles and grandpas who, even when it was time, when they was going through it, I mean, just think, he's the one who's blind. He's the one who just wished for death. He who know death is coming to him, and yet still he's still worried about taking care of his household. That's a different level of man right there, right? If you got something, you can go ahead and get in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's brother bringing out for the absence though. But hey Tobit, hey, he was teaching his son. And that's a commandment to teach your children. You know, he telling them what he supposed to do, give alms, take care of your brother, take care of the poor. That's a commandment given by the Most High God. And for order for you to even the order for you able to teach your children is through the commandments of the Lord. It's a commandment to teach your children, not to teach them in wickedness, not to teach them how to damn all these wicked things in the world. You know, we ain't gonna go too deep. Right? We go to Deuteronomy 6. We can start at verse 5. It says, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. See that? And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. So it's a commandment to teach your children, right? So Tobit, hey, he's sending commands, despite of him, you know, going through what he's going through. He's blind, right? Got into it with his wife, you know, a little argument. But he continued to do the work of the Lord. He continued to guide his household. And that's how we gotta move, right? Let's get another precept through the spirit. All right. Proverbs chapter 20. So I can bear with me. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse was Proverbs 22 and 6. So like, right, this Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6, it says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So Tobit is literally keeping the commandments of the Lord despite of what he's going through. How many brothers they're gonna continue to teach their family and also keep the commandments themselves? Got to be profitable to yourself. You got to be doing the things to be able to teach somebody else something. Got to be teaching yourself, learning yourself before you even teach somebody else to learn the ways of the Most High. So how much are many of us or you to be, you know, still lead your household and tell your household to do this and that, thus said the Lord, while you going through hell? You know, our forefathers were strong, man. Our forefathers wasn't weak, But you got to.
Hey, that's a fact, man. Listen, we don't come from weak dudes. We don't come from like the way we conduct ourselves now is not how we conducted ourselves back then, right? I mean, it's just not the way that look at this. Let's go back to Tobit chapter 3, Tobit chapter 2, and I'm gonna read something that us as people, not even just men, but the women too, that we don't move no more. Let's read this. Okay, Tobit chapter 2 and verse 10. And I knew not that there were sparrows in the wall, and mine eyes being opened, the sparrows muted warm dung into mine eyes, and a whiteness came into mine eyes. So he was sitting on this wall. Next thing he know, he blind. Now let's see what the next verse say. And my wife Anna did take women's work to do. And when she had sent them home to the owners, they paid her wages and gave her also besides a kid. Hey, Eve, God forbid something happened to your husband today. Are you willing to take women's work to do to keep the household going? You know, we see all this stuff on social media, just teaching everybody to just abandon people at their lowest. Don't nobody stick it out with each other. It's not about who they are as a person. It's about what they can do for you. Hey, Anna didn't think like that. There was no account, and please correct me if I'm wrong. There is no account in the book of Tobit that I can remember where Anna was like kind of sideways looking at Tobit, and he blind. You know, hey, that dude that I met down there at the market, man, he was tall. Where's that account of her just kind of having a wandering eye now that her husband wasn't who he was before? Or did she take women's work to do? Hey, a lot of the ways that our forefathers and foremothers moved, we do not move them ways. And that's the whole point of me and the brother Shema Wall bringing this out at this very moment. Bringing these different accounts out, Susanna and Saul and this person and that person, because we got to see, it's cool to read a couple of scriptures, but let's see how our people actually lived. How the righteous of our people, because Tobit was righteous. So it's important we see, hey, okay, well, Tobit was righteous. Let me read about his life. Okay, he did that with his son. He prayed like this. He made sure he didn't say that kind of stuff. Okay, I'm going to move like Tobit. That's the whole point. There's things that's written aforetime was written for our learning. All right. Now let's switch gears a little bit. Let's jump up. As a matter of fact, I have one more verse in Tobit chapter 4 and verse 21. This is very important. Tobit chapter 4 and verse 21. And fear not, my son, that we are made poor. He said, don't trip on the fact that we down bad right now. Don't trip on that. You know how it is. Hey, Esau, he the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. His stock dropped 60%. Hey, he ready to jump off a damn building, man. Esau, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we had some floods in Milwaukee not too long ago. It's August now. It's October now. That was in August. Right? In August, we had a series of floods, man, made national news. People losing everything. Hey, I ain't hear of not one Jake, not one Eve jumping off the top of their house. You know, taking a whole bottle of pills. My house flooded. So we don't move like that. We done been through the ringer in America. And yet and still, all right, Salaki, y'all, for my special guest, like I said, yet and still, we find a way to make a way out of no way. And Tobit told his son, let's read this again in Tobit chapter 4 and verse 21. And fear not, my son, that we are made poor, for thou hast much wealth. If thou fear God and depart from all sin and do that which is pleasing in his sight. You know what that means? It means that money doesn't mean anything if we got the Most High. That's what that means. As long as we got the most, this is what he's telling his son. He said, don't trip on the fact that we ain't having no money how we usually do. I don't care if we went from penthouse living to now we stand with my wife's mother now. I'm sleeping on the my wife's sleeping on the couch. I'm sleeping on the floor in somebody else's house. He said, man, don't trip on all that. As long as we fear God and depart from all sin, we gonna be straight. Let's get a precept on that. Let's get Sirach, chapter 11. And I want to get, hold on, that might be Sirach 21 and verse number 5. Is that what I want? That's not what I want, but we can get that. Psalms chapter 21 and verse number 5. It says, a prayer out of a poor man's mouth reacheth to the ears of God, and his judgment cometh speedily. Hey, when you poor, you ain't having it how you want to have it. Hey, if you pray to the Most High, it says your judgment will be executed speedily. Don't the Bible say, blessed be the poor? Let's get that. Because we be going through it, man. Look, I'm not the richest, I ain't the brokest. But let me tell you, I done had my moments where I was not having it how I wanted to have it. And it's true. I'm talking about, hey, stop me when I'm lying. Making a video trying to teach the people when whole time you got 1,000,001 things going on behind closed doors. Your car broke down, you about to lose your job, your wife getting on your nerves, your kids disobedient. Hey, y'all know how y'all all you mad, right? And then your belt loop or the wire off your headphones or something get caught on the door when you trying to leave. Boy, let me tell you, man. Let you have a bad morning. You leave out that house, go all the way out to the car, and you done left your phone upstairs. You be ready to leave, man. You be ready to lose it. But hey, guess what? When we going through these various things, we have to make sure that we keeping that faith. I know what I wanted to get. I want to get Sirach 11 and verse 21. All right, and then if you got anything, you can bring that up after this verse. It's Sirach 11 and verse 21. Marvel not at the works of sinners, but trust in the Lord and abide in thy labor. For it is an easy thing in the sight of the Lord on the sudden to make a poor man rich. And the Most High can give it to you like that, like it's nothing. Read about Abraham. Read about David. I mean, really read about these people. They was having it, but they wasn't born like that. But the Most High can move whatever He want to move to give you what He want to give. Right? You got a precept out?
Got a precept. Yeah, so Tobit, hey, you see he and his son to take care of the poor, right? I'm gonna bring out this precept too before I touch on this one. Because the point that he said, Tobit chapter 4, verse 17, it says, pour out thy bread on the burial of the just, but give nothing to the wicked. Hey, that's a beautiful commandment to give your son. Give nothing to the wicked. Nothing. I mean, you can't give alms to everybody, you know, because some might happen to you just by what you give to them. But I want to bring that out. But verse 21, I'm going to just read it again. It says, and fear not, my son, that we are made poor, for thou hast much wealth. Why we have much wealth? Why did he tell Tobias he has much wealth? Is because he knows the truth. He knows his nationality. He knows that if he's feeling low, he can call upon his God. No other nation has a God to call upon that's actually going to lift them up out of affliction. They don't have that. They don't have a God to where you stranded. He could literally send a spirit down, put it on a brother, and next thing you know, somebody pick you up. He was just driving around. He was upset. Whatever he dealing with, he just driving around. All of a sudden, he drive past you. Oh snap! That's so and so. That's the op. Shalom, boom, boom, boom. Whole time you telling them you ain't got no signal. Your phone finna die. And you see this brother before your phone die. And he got a phone charger in the car. That's the Most High, man. These other nations don't have a God like that. They God can't speak. They God can't hear. Because when they call upon their idols, it don't hear, right? They God go to sleep. Is always in a coma. It never responds, right? That's why we have much wealth, right? Because we have a God to call upon. Right, let's go to Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8. It says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things. This is the same spirit is what Tobit is moving in while he's teaching his son. It says, those things which ye have both learned and received and heard and seen in me do, and the God of peace shall be with you. Right? I'm going to drop down to verse 11. It says, not that I speak in respect of one, for I have learned, in whatsoever state I am, therewith be content. Tobit is literally teaching his son to be content. You have what you need. You have the Most High. And this is why the Lord has to take a lot of things from us so we can call upon him and lean upon him. Because if we have everything, you think you're gonna call upon the Most High? If you had your dream car, your dream house, your dream women, I'm gonna say women, dream women, not woman, dream women. You got everything: the gold, the shoes, the clothes, the resources. You got everything. You think you're gonna call upon the Lord? You think you're gonna wake up in the morning and tell Yahweh Bashem Yahushai good morning? You think you're gonna do that? No, you're not. So Tobit telling you, hey, you got much wealth. This is why the Lord said, thou art rich, man. We're rich in spirit. We're the chosen people of God. We could call upon the Most High when we don't know what's going on. When we have no answer to life, we could call upon the God that made heaven and earth, that literally set everything, predestination, get you out of a situation that no man can get you out of but him himself. He made it, right? That's a beautiful thing, right? So I'm going to read Tobit again. Right, it says, and fear not, my son, that we are made poor, for thou hast much wealth. For if thou fear God and depart from all sin and do that which is pleasing in his sight, you have much wealth if you do that which is pleasing to him. You should be happy because you know what's pleasing to him. Let's get that. Baruch chapter 4. All right. Beautiful precept. Beautiful precept. Baruch chapter 4, verse 4. It says, O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us. See, you will be happy because you know how to please the Most High. It's not a secret anymore. And it's people our people don't even know how to please the Most High. Not in this truth. Once you find out, you should be happy about that. Oh man, I can't do that. The Lord ain't gonna be pleasing with that. And that should get you excited because you doing things that please the Most High. Because once upon a time we didn't know. So it says, thou art rich. I'm gonna get this last precept and you got it. Right? Let's go to Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. Precept that a lot of us Israelites bring out on the so-called Jewish man. But that precept really going into, who's are not Jews inwardly, man. You say you a Jew, you say you Israel, but you're not doing the works. Damn Pharisee. This is Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. It says, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. Yahweh said it himself, but thou art rich, man. You rich. You could be in the lowest state you could ever be. The lowest state. You can have no house, no car, no job. But you rich because you actually have a God that looks out for you. For some reason, you still be able to eat. For some reason, you still have a shelter. You still can get clothes on your back. You still get warm at night. The situation you in could be worse than somebody else's. you know, or could be lesser than somebody else's, not even worse, you know. So hey, we rich, we are rich people, and the other nations see that because they don't have a God that actually chose them and tell them how to move in their life. And if something goes wrong, they can call upon them. But they don't have that. They don't have that at all. They literally just vain. They vanity. You understand? But you got out.
Con. Hey, like I bring that up to brothers every now and then. Like I say, if you was ever having a bad day, just be glad that you're not Esau, man. I mean, I don't care how bad of a day that I'm having as one of the chosen people of God. But the fact that I will never wake up and be that dude, all praise to the Most High, man. All praises. Let's get Rome. I want to get Romans chapter 3 before we jump back into Tobit. Romans chapter 3 and verse number 1. What advantage then hath the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision? It's like what is the point of, okay, yeah, I'm an Israelite. That's cool. That's cute. But what does that truly mean? Right. Salaki, 1 second. All right, Salaki, let's read that again. This is Romans chapter 3 and verse 1. What advantage then hath the Jew? Or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way. Chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God. I mean, think about that. Out of all the nations on this planet, to us was committed the oracles of God. To us was committed. Hey, if you read Romans chapter 9, which I'm not going to get into that right now, that'll take the lesson a whole nother direction. We trying to stay on Tobit. But hey, the Most High gave us everything, man. You realize the planet was made for you if you are an Israelite? If you are an Israelite, the planet Earth was created for you. We got to understand that. That's in second Esdras. So let's get back into Tobit. Tobit understood that, hey, all this money, all this X, Y, and Z, all this A, B, and C, man, look, long as I got the Most High, I do not care. And that's how Tobit was moving. Now let's get into this. Tobit chapter 5 and verse number 1. Let's speed this up. Tobias then answered and said, Father, I will do all things which thou hast commanded me. This is right after he was telling them, give your alms, telling them what type of woman to marry, telling them not to fear the fact that they was poor. This is right after that. Reading on, Tobit 5 and 2. But how can I receive the money, seeing I know him not? How am I going to receive my inheritance from this man if I don't know him? That's what he asked his father. Verse 3. Then he gave him the handwriting and said unto him, Seek thee a man which may go with thee whiles I yet live, and I will give him wages, and go and receive the money. Now let's jump down to Tobit chapter 6. Or let's jump down to verse 15 before we jump over. Tobit 5 and 15. Yea, moreover, if you return safe, I will add something to thy wages. Now he was talking to the man who was going to be going on this journey with his son to show him the way. He told him, hey, you make sure everything good, I'm going to pay you even on top of that. I got a tip for you. Tobit was given a tip even way back in the day, way back when. That's how great of a man he was. Even though all he owed this man was what he was his wages, he said, man, if you make sure everything goes straight, I'm going to throw you a tip. That's how Tobit was moving. Let's jump down to Tobit chapter 6 in verse, or is it chapter 7? Salaki. Tobit chapter, I believe it's chapter 10. You know that exact verse?
You know what it says?
It was like, it was when he was paying him. When he had gave him when he had gave him the money for what he did. Hold on, I think I might have found it. I just didn't think it was this far. Because Tobit made good on his word, man. He wasn't just talk. He wasn't like Jake now. You know how Jake be. They'll say anything to get what they want. Jake, you'll tell Eve, "Oh, I'll drink your bath water." You'll tell Eve, "Oh, I'll do anything for you. I'll never leave you." And then what Jake do as soon as he get what he want, man? And even staying on this same topic with money, hey man, I mean back in the day when I used to DoorDash, you kind of give Jake they food, they file a complaint on you like you ain't never delivered the food to them. You sitting there communicating, hey, the order taking a little too long, X, Y, and Z going on, but hey, I'm standing in line, I'm next. They said it should be 5 minutes. You gave them great customer service, and they run off on you. They put you in a position to lose your livelihood. And I had a precept on that. It slips me at the moment, right? But hey, the Bible basically say, hey, making somebody lose their livelihood is like taking their life from them. It's like being a murderer, right? But we ain't gonna get that for now. That's another topic for another video. So Tobit had to make good on this payment that he told this man that he would give him. Tobit didn't just finesse him. He didn't just run off on him and all that. None of that. So let's get this. This is Tobit chapter 10. And I want to get... All right, that's not it. That's crazy. I had the verse. There it is, verse 1. Tobit chapter 12 and verse 1. Then Tobit called his son Tobias and said unto him, My son, see that the man have his wages which went with thee, and thou must give him more. That's the point. He said, and thou must give him more. Why did he say that? Why did he say, hey, not only you got to give him his wages, you got to put some extra to it? Let's see why. Let's see which law he was keeping when he did that. Let's go to Numbers chapter 30. Numbers chapter 30 and verse number 2. If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth. So when Tobit told that man, hey, you know what I'm saying? Not only am I gonna pay your wages, I'm gonna throw you something extra if everything goes smooth. He had to honor that. Let's read that again. Tobit chapter 5 and verse 15. Yea, moreover, if ye return safe, I will add something to thy wages. Tobit said that out of his mouth. He binded his soul with a bond when he said that. Right? Now, how many times, Jake, Eve, how many times did we say we gonna do something, we don't do nothing like we said we was gonna do? Even something small. You might have told somebody, hey, you might have told your son, oh, I'm
Lord, when he come back, that's crazy. All praise to the Most High. See a little bit. Yeah, come man. The brother was going in, right? But like the brother was going into, he kept the commandment, right? He vowed a vow. And you got a lot of, like the brother was saying, a lot of brothers don't really keep their vows. They make promises and don't keep them. You know what I'm saying? Brother back.
Shalom, you can hear me?
Come.
Yeah, man. Somebody trying to call me. We ain't gonna let that throw us off. Right? So like I was saying, Tobit had to honor what he said because that's the law. If you say you gonna do something or you say you not gonna do something, hey, the Lord expects us to stick with that. The Lord does not, ain't no, ain't no. Show me an account where one of the people of the Lord say, "Oh, I was just playing. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I did say that. That's my fault, bro. Dang, I said that. That's crazy. My bad, Brody. I mean, just God forbid. God forbid I tell the brothers from my wall, you know, or I know you just got put out. I'm just using an example that didn't happen, right? The brothers from my wall obviously ain't got put out, but just follow me. You didn't got put out. You done got to put out your grandma house. All right, I got a place for you to stay for the next couple of days. I got you. Then a brother called me. I'm kind of like, oh dang. See what had happened was, hey, the Lord not dealing with see what had happened was, man, at all. That is not. Imagine if the Lord said, see what had happened was to us. You pray to the Most High. Oh Lord, I just broke my leg in 3 places. They talking about I'm gonna get an infection. I might lose my leg. Lord, please be there for me. And the Lord say, okay. Then you kind of text the Lord phone. It been 3 hours here and say, hey, what happened? Oh, my bad. I fell asleep. Then I got caught up talking to my. Imagine if the Lord hit us with that, man. Imagine if it's time for us to get banged up in the chariots. Oh, dang, my bad. I forgot to pick up such and such. I'll be back. You feel me? And the Lord is not dealing with unreliable, lying Israelites, man. And that could be any one of us, man. Every single one of us, including us two that's making this video right now, have been a victim at some point in our life of saying we was gonna do something and not doing it, or saying we wasn't gonna do it and doing it anyway. And God forbid, but hey, us being in this flesh, it might happen again. We not full control. Hey, you might tell your rib, I'm 10 minutes away, and you pull up in 11 minutes and 30 seconds. Even something like that, as simple as that, and you said you was gonna do something that didn't end up coming to pass. So we got to really understand that when Tobit made good on his promise, that's not a small thing. He kept the law of the Most High. If he wouldn't have did that, hey, the Most High would have had to get up with him. Right. So if you ain't got a precept, I'm gonna keep going because we almost done with Tobit.
I got a quick precept because he kept a vow. He also too. Leviticus 19 verse 13. It says, "Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him." It says, "The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning." So he had to pay him his wages for the work that he's done, and it can't abide with him all day. How many brothers in the world and sisters you got to pay somebody or pay them back, and it's 6 months, damn near a year, and all it is just $20, $25, maybe $5. Whole time it's dwelling on your mind every time you see this brother, and you don't even pay him. But Tobit, he said, "Hey man, do this and that. I'm gonna pay you and more." And that's what he did, being a man of his word. Because our forefathers, they was a man of their word, man. And Jake, he not a man of his word, man. He say stuff, he don't achieve it. He say stuff and just don't do it. It's just dwelling on his mind. I got another precept. You get out a class precept. Then you got it out. I don't want to be too long. All right. You go to 1 Samuel chapter 2. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 3. It says, "Talk no more so exceeding proudly. Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth. For the Lord is a God of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed." So the Lord is looking at your actions. You can say whatever you want to say, but whatever you saying is not following your actions. The Lord gonna get up with you. The Lord gonna have weird things happen to you. No, I'm not saying you're gonna get put to death, depending on what you say and what are you doing. But as far as these little things right here, how you treating somebody, the same thing is gonna happen to you. The Lord's judgment is like a ring. It said it in 2nd Esdras 5 in verse 42. His judgment is like a ring. As you know, in the world they say karma, it comes around and go back around. No, the Lord's judgments, it goes around and come back around. So the things that you sow, you're gonna reap that. You're gonna get that sevenfold if you're wicked, right? And if you not wicked, hey, you still gonna reap. You still gotta pay attention to what you sow, man. Right? I want to bring out another precept through the spirit. Should be Luke, right? Because you gotta count the cost. Right? I believe that's Luke 16, verse 10. Um, let me see. Was it Luke 16 and 10? That's what I wanted. Let me see. Right. I believe that's Luke 16 and 10. I'm in my new sword. Because Jake like to say, he gonna do this and that and don't finish it. Right? I believe that's the precept. Let's see. I could bring this out anyway though. This is Luke chapter 10, it's like chapter 16 and verse 10. It says, "He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much." So Tobit was faithful in the little things. And him being faithful in the little things, giving alms, bearing his brother, which that's not a little thing. But you could just tell the spirit that he's moving in, the little things matter to him. And he told his son how to move, right? All in the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Him being faithful in that little, right? He was faithful in much. Verse 11, it says, "If therefore ye have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches?" Right? So how can a person trust you if you saying stuff you gonna do and you don't do it? The brother may have a big business that he wants you to join. You can, come with him. Y'all can, make the money and, do things. But the little things that you do and what you say you don't do, he like, and, but
Was you looking for Luke 14 and 28?
yeah, that's what it was. That's crazy.
Con.
But that Luke 16 October was he was faithful in. But I'm gonna bring it out with the water. It's Luke. It's, yeah, Luke 14:28. Which of you, if you build a tower, sitteth not down and count the cost, but he have sufficient to finish, less happily after you have not able to offer against market, and you finish. So you don't want to move. You don't want to be a man type of spirit. And Tobit didn't move in that. He said what he was going to do. He kept the commandments. Yeah,
Con. Hey man, count the cost. Count the cost. That's exactly what Toby did over and over and over again. He counted the cost. When he went blind, he counted the cost. Okay, is me going blind? Is me giving up on the Most High because I'm blind gonna cost me more or less than sticking with the Most High, regardless of if I'm blind or not? And obviously, he chose the latter. Is falling out the truth because I lost my job because I kept running late to work. Is that more costly than then the alternative, of course it is. It's too expensive to fall out of the truth. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It costs way too much to lose this knowledge, this wisdom, this understanding that the Lord has given us. It costs way too much. That's why Tobit told his son, don't trip on not having no money. You need to worry about fearing the Most High and doing what's pleasing to him. Because if not, think about it. Did R. Kelly's money save him? Did Michael Jackson money save him? Did P. Diddy money save him? Think about all these rappers getting locked up. Can Lil Durk money save him right now? You think the feds care about that? Having money has nothing on having the Most High. Nothing. And we got to understand that having money, having fame, having all of that stuff, it holds no weight. Let me get one more thing, and then we're going to finish in Tobit. All right, we winding down. It's Mark chapter 4. All right. Mark chapter 4, and I believe I want verse 30. Let me see. I'm on looking for it. It might be Mark chapter 3. Mark chapter 3 and verse. What's that verse? It say it talk about like losing your soul. I got it. I know I'm close to it.
You
You said it's what?
go to Matthew in verse 30.
Matthew chapter.
Matthew 10, verse 35.
Man, I know I had it. Bring it out for me if you got it. I know I had it in Mark though.
That's 39. In Matthew 10 and verse 39, it says, if this is what you wanted, he that findeth his life, he that loses his life shall.
Kai, that's actually a mighty precept. It's not exactly what I was looking for. But Kai, all praises. You know what I'm saying? Tobit, one thing he didn't do was look for his own life. You know, he looked to his affairs. He told his son, hey, handle this, handle that. Do this, don't do that. Take care of your mama. Remember everything she went through. All of them things is what Tobit was concerned with. Now, unfortunately, I can't think of that verse, but hey, all things are the Most High. So
Like
let's finish this.
you
Go
wanna
ahead.
you wanna Mark 8 and 36.
Mark 8 and 36. I knew it was 30 something.
Okay.
I had the chapter wrong. The water.
Mm.
Let's get that right quick. Mark chapter 8. 1 second, son. Mark chapter 8. And I'm going to drop down to verse number 36. It says, Mark 8 and 36. So like this child of mine. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul, man? Think about that. You know who found that out the hard way? That losing your soul is not worth no amount of money. Judas Iscariot found that out the hard way. That money is not more important than your soul. To the point he tried to give it back. If we had more time, we could go into it. But hey, if you ain't read about Judas, man, read up on him. Boy tried to get the money back. Like, I don't even want the money no more. It's over with. Now you done betrayed the Lord. Now you known forever as being that man that betrayed the Lord. He didn't have an honorable name like Tobit does. Tobit's name is honorable. Right? And as a matter of fact, that segues me into how I want to end this off. Let's go to Proverbs. Right? I want to hold Proverbs chapter 22 and verse number 1. Right? We're going to hold that. And let's go back to Tobit, chapter 12. Tobit, chapter 12, in verse number 1. Right? We're going to hold that. And let's go back to Tobit, chapter 12. Tobit, chapter 12, in verse number 1. 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 Tobit, chapter 12, in number where I want to leave off at. Verse number 8. This is actually the precept I was looking for earlier. Tobit chapter 12, verse 8. Prayer is good with fasting and alms and righteousness. So he said, hey, make sure you praying, but mix it with alms. Mix it with fasting and righteousness. A little with righteousness is better than much with unrighteousness. It is better to give alms than to lay up gold. He said a little with righteousness is better than much with unrighteousness. It's better to have not a penny, but to be righteous than to have Elon Musk money and you evil. Let's see why. Verse number 10. But they that sin are enemies to their own life. I mean, that was it. That when I first came into the truth, that was one of the first precepts that stuck with me. I hadn't even read the book of Tobit yet. But when I seen that verse, I hadn't read it for completely. When I saw that verse, man, I had goosebumps on my arm, man. They that sin are enemies to their own life. And what they say now, you know, everybody got ops now, right? Everybody talking about this and then op this and op. Imagine being your own op. You your biggest one. The only one who can really catch you slipping is you. Think about that. And here it is, Jake riding around with 1 million guns. They riding around behind 5% tent. They switching vehicles every other day. And yet and still, while they hiding from external enemies, they looking at their enemy in the mirror every day. Do not let that be you. God forbid I let that be me. Here it is, I'm buckling my seatbelt when I'm riding in the car, making sure all my mirrors work, all my blinkers work. I'm as safe as I can be physically, but I'm on my way in this same car to go commit adultery. I'm on my way to go steal. I mean, I'm an enemy to my own life at that point. And God forbid I ever do that. God forbid anybody who's watching this is ever worried about their physical safety, but your spirit is on the way to destruction. God forbid there be any one of us. Right? So we gonna leave off on Tobit. Right? Tobit, well, let's read this last verse. It says, this is Tobit, chapter 14 and verse number 1. Tobit 14 and 1. So Tobit made an end of praising God, and he was 8 and 50 years old when he lost his sight, which was restored to him after 8 years. And he gave alms, and he increased in the fear of the Lord God and praised him. He was 58. Imagine you've been your whole life, your eyes didn't work perfectly fine. Then you hit your late 50s and you can't see nothing no more. Just imagine that. You done went through. It's almost impossible to imagine. And then for 8 years straight. And it didn't say that he fell out of the truth. It didn't say that he cursed the Most High. It didn't say that he took his fringes off, set up the camera, and burned it, and then titled the video, Why I Left the Hebrew Israelites. Where's the account of Tobit doing that? Tobit had an honorable name. Right? So I want to end it off with this. Like I said, I was holding Proverbs chapter 22 earlier. It's Proverbs chapter 22 and verse 1. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. It's better for you to have a good name like Tobit to where thousands of years later, you got a brother named Mawasar, a brother named Shemawal, making a video about him, reading what the accounts of him. Ain't no amount of money. Think about how many rich men it has been in history that we have never and will never hear of. Their names just disappeared. But yet and still, you got a man like Tobit who wasn't even having money like that. If he was having money, why did he tell his son, don't trip on the fact that we broke? He said, don't trip on that. And yet and still, his name lived forever. I like to ask people this question almost all the time. How much money did Yahweh Shai have? How much money did sweet baby Jesus Christ have when he was walking the earth? Was the Lord riding around in Lambo trucks with Cubans on? You know, he jumping out to the club fresh. He got Gucci shoes on. No, I said the Lord didn't even have a place to lay his head. But yet and still, we talking about him to this day. I'm going to read this verse again and we're going to close out. This Proverbs 22:1. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. So remember that, Israel. Remember Tobit. Remember all the great things that he taught, the great things that he was about. You know, talking about alms, fasting, keeping the law, keeping your word. Tobit was keeping the law the way it was supposed to be kept. And Lord willing, we can learn something from that. But with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shem Yahushua for another mighty video on this good Wednesday. I want to say, Kwam Yashala, Shalom.
Shalom.